Alright, now for part two. Um, so Marcus was stunned that this young man, who was at least a decade younger than Marcus, had the exact same word choice that the old Marcus had. So he, um, in confusion, retired to his chambers. It's here where he takes off his top layer of his royal garments, which I'm sure were hot and heavy. Um, and all of a sudden, Phineas enters the room, and it's very excuse me, it's very puzzling to Marcus, and it's here, like every good evildoer, that he reveals his plan of how he wanted to, how he and Marcus had one day, in the past, planned to take over both of the continents, and how they would each rule one individually, and how Phineas planned to cut Marcus out of his half, however, and how this was a great plan for him until Marcus messed it up. Marcus had been sent to capture the Southern Princess, who was the symbol of peace and the main diplomat for the Southern nations, or for the Southern nation, I should say. Um, so he captured her, and in his time with her, she convinced him to have the same thinking that she had. That peace was the only way we could rule this continent. She too wanted it to be unified under one banner, but she didn't want it to be by force, which Phineas, of course, did. So, all of these memories, um, once he walks Marcus through some of these, all of his memories begin to come back. And then he remembers that Phineas was the one that killed the Southern Princess. Um, and, of course, the Southern Princess was not only. There was somewhat of a love interest there, and I think I do remember putting that in the text, but it was a more of a respect kind of love. It was not a romantic kind of love because of the severe age difference that there would have been. Even though I'm sure I wouldn't have passed it of a king and a young woman, or someone of royalty and a young woman, I should say. Um, but so he remembers that he killed her, and they begin to fight because Phineas realizes that Marcus remembers everything, and that he can't leave him alive. So he attacks him, and Marcus wrestles um, Phineas to the ground and begins to choke him with the royal garments he had taken off. Um, and it's here where he wants to kill him, to be honest. Uh, Marcus wants to kill Phineas, but he is reminded of Eliwood's words, and he restrains himself only after he's passed out. Um, it's at this point where after he's been strangled and is now unconscious that the young Eliwood opens the door to his chambers, and of course he sees the scene, is confused, and uh, Marcus just says that the king is a murderer. Go put him in front of the other diplomats. Um, and so of course the young Eliwood does that, and all of a sudden the old Eliwood shuts the door behind him, and I give him a nice little monologue here about him explaining what his future would have been if he did not interfere, if he did not save him that day, what would have happened. And that was that he would have ended up killing the king, and that the people, thinking that their king was just and that uh, Marcus was not, given that Marcus is the brother of the king. Um, but yeah, he reveals that the people would have killed him, and then of course the southern nation would have killed all the people because of the wrongdoings of their rulers, and that as a commander he could not see that much of a waste of life. Um, and so Marcus then goes on to rule and do everything as peacefully as the southern princess had wanted, not what man's greed would have wanted. Because of his interfering, and of course makes the young Eliwood his royal advisor. And but anyway, I think I'm out of time. Thank you for listening to my story. I'm sorry if I cut out maybe some specific details, but I did want to keep up the pacing a little bit. Thank you all for listening. Bye.